G'day and welcome to Surfing Live TV, brought to you by our partners at Gotcha. We'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this Yugambeh speaking region and pay our respect to elders past, present and emerging. I'm Ray from Surfing Live, and our special guest this episode is Ben Gordon, Jeff Ling, Parkway Drive. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, mate.
Thanks for letting us be here, mate. Stoked to be here.
Yeah. First question.
Go for it.
Straight off. Which one's first, surfing or music?
You're the man.
Surfing.
Yeah, surfing. Let's go surfing. Let's go surfing because we do music a lot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I just feel, I've thought of that before.
Have you?
As far as like, if I could never play drums again or never surf, and it's a really difficult thing because they're my two passions, but I'd honestly have to say I'd never play drums again.
Yeah, me too.
Because surfing,
Go surfing, yeah.
surfing for me was my first love. I think all of us, we've all
yeah.
played music from a young age, but was surfing since we were two or 3 years old. So to never, I think surfing's the number one.
100%. Like, and strangely, we haven't actually talked about this as a group before.
Right.
No, definitely not. But I totally agree, and I've thought about it before as well. Like, if someone put you on the spot and said, "This is it," you make a decision, or
choose one or the other.
Bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's 100% surfing because of that reason. Like that's our foundations. Like without, like, for me, that's my meditation. Like that's my defrag from life's things that happen and all the band stuff. Like that's my defrag.
But plus, it gets to a point where one becomes work even though it's a passion.
Yeah.
Like for me, surfing, again, it's the same thing. But I've thought about, if I had to give up producing Surfing Life magazine or give up surfing, it's a toss-up again, because they're both amazing things to do. And I imagine
that's
when
right.
what's the biggest crowd you've played in front of?
100,000.
Yeah, that was wacky.
So that, giving that up,
it's pretty serious. It's not easy, but if the pressure cooker gets turned on, that's the button. That's
luckily, we can do both. But it's like what you said is we've got a lot of pro surfer friends, and we've all seen it where like they obviously love surfing, but doing the grind of the tour, they just get jaded. And
Same thing. Everything becomes a job.
Yeah, because if they have to surf, being told you got to surf now. The same with us, like you might not feel like it, but you got to be on stage now, and you're like, So it just does grind you down a little bit.
Because I guess let's put into a different perspective then. You retire. You haven't picked up a pair of sticks or an axe in a year. And now it's just for passion. You haven't picked up a surfboard either.
Ooh.
And then you go, okay, now you got to go back, and now you got to choose one or the other.
Quick variation though.
Oh, it's very.
We've retired, so we're older. Is our body still functional?
Body's still good.
Can we still move our backs and knees? And
you can still come off the back.
Still
come off the top. You can do backhand flippers.
Okay, yes.
It's no brainer.
Surfing.
Well, it's funny though, the first time we'd actually stopped in our adult lives was because of COVID.
Yeah,
because we've basically been back-to-back touring for the last 18 years. And then so COVID, we had a big European tour in April. COVID hit a few days before we made the call, cancelled it. And then for the first probably 6 months, I think all of us, we basically had a break from the band, from writing, from playing. I didn't play drums for like 5 or 6 months for the first time in my life because we just were so burnt, and it was so good to get that break. And then what happened was after that time, I found the passion and the love again because I just was like, I really feel like playing. It's not because it's like you have to write, you have to do this, and it's like, we just said, it's time to write. And we both kind of felt it at the same time. We started jamming again for the love of it again.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
it was actually really good to get that kind of enthusiasm back.
Yeah, that's so good. I'm going to ask a really personal question now. I play guitar, not very well, so I won't show anybody here.
I'm just good at writing it.
Is it different as a drummer because you need people? I know you can jam on your own, but it's not like when you sit down with a guitar and you can play a song, or you can go and do a whole set with a guitar. You can't really do a whole set with a set of drums. Do you find the need to be with, or the requirement to be with the rest of the band, a pressure on you?
No, not at all. I love playing by myself.
Okay, cool.
Because these days, it's pretty easy. Like I've got an analog kit, but I've also got an electric kit where you can play along to songs, either your own or others, or just like you play around with different sounds and keep it interesting.
Nice.
But I really enjoy playing by myself 2 different things. But Jeff and I and Winston are the main kind of songwriters in the band, and we jam a lot together.
Yeah.
And it's exciting, but I also love playing by myself. I
Awesome.
can play for hours and just kind of not think about it, just kind of let it kind of rip.
Oh my goodness, can't you just get lost for hours?
Oh, you just sit there. Like I say that to, I say to my partner, oh, sorry babe, like I'll be up in a second. Like I just got this idea, I just got to quickly track it. And I'm serious. Like I genuinely mean that. I'm just gonna shoot down there. One thing leads to another, and I'm down there for hours, and she's stomping because like I'm downstairs and she's just upstairs. And then she starts yelling, and then she'll run down and knock on the door and all that, and I'll get in trouble. But that's that. And you just get lost.
It is a rabbit hole
that
you can go down, and time.
It's
like when you get barreled, and time
stands still. Oh yeah.
It's very similar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Time stands still. You're like, what? Where did those?
Yeah, you say to your mates, oh, did you see my half-an-hour barrel? And they're like, mate, it was half a second at best. Like, what?
Shampoo.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Now, what were you going to say just before?
Oh, I had some stupid comment to throw in there. It was just, I can't remember, some ridiculous thing.
No problem. Now, I've been doing a little bit of Instagramming. Fiji just recently.
Yeah. I've been
Friend of mine, Peel, he got those shots, have you? Eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's from Byron. Chris Peel.
Chris Peel.
Yeah, he used to just be a little annoying kid, and now he's an annoying adult.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it was funny. Just before COVID hit, I went to Fiji with 2 mates.
Yep.
And then we literally got home as the travel ban hit, basically. And then we lived through that trip. We were reminiscing for 2 years about that trip because we got such fun waves. And then we relived it a few months ago, and we just got really fun waves. Nothing too solid. Cloud break got about 5, maybe 6 foot on one day.
Fun.
But just like so nice over there, isn't it? Just surfing with boardies again and
Clean water.
Clean water, After all the rain we've had,
it's
been hard to watch get any clean water lately.
Yeah, but it has been the last few years. I mean, for me personally, back in the day, I used to do a lot of strike missions, like in between tours and at the end of like if we were touring America, I'd usually nearly always go to Mexico after, if it was the right time of year, or go Indo on the way home or something. But yeah, I've barely done any surf trips in a couple of years. I mean,
we're all like,
I
run a surf magazine. I've done one in 2 years.
Yeah. But luckily, I mean, the first year of COVID was kind of the best year we've had at home for decades.
I think that was the best surf in Byron's history, and a lot of people agree with it.
It was pretty all
and
time.
We could surf almost all the time.
Yeah, and there was no one around.
Because of COVID. And it was like, we just couldn't believe our luck.
Well, the Gold Coast was very different because during COVID, everyone worked from home.
I heard that.
And the beaches, they've finally started to settle down. They were so busy.
I heard that.
Because you're all doing your own hours.
Yeah.
There was no downtime. It was like just solid the whole way through. One crew would leave, another crew would turn up. And
no little
busy, no gaps,
moments, no windows.
That's always the Goldie though, isn't it?
No, you can get gaps. You can get quite a few gaps. I've been at the alley, and that's a hectic place. It's like
apparently that was pumping in that big swell.
There's only 4 people here.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And head high. It was wild.
Oh wow.
Did you get out on the ski with the boys out there when it gets a bit bigger?
No, I'll leave that to the young.
Actually, scrap that. That's not a sport.
Well, it is a sport, and everyone knows that.
Yeah,
but
true.
Because you have to have a ski, and you've got to have the ability.
Yeah, you do.
And it kind of these regions around here. When it gets to a certain size,
Well, that's why everyone as soon as it gets over like 4 foot around Byron, unless it's like, a westerly and an east swell, and you might have a chance of surfing somewhere on the back beaches. Like, you're stuffed. You've got to go to Kira. Like, you've got to come up here to those few points. It's hard.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, I often think of it as you get one wave out there. It's worth 50 on a beach.
One wave at Kira, then the wave of your life.
Well, you'll never forget it. You'll never forget it.
The funny thing is, for me, I've gone up a lot of these big swells that come. It's always a mental battle. It's like, do I try and battle it out at Kirra and paddle in a rip for 3 hours and probably won't get one?
Yeah.
Or do you surf average Byron, you're not going to get one? And I go up, and literally probably 8 times in a row I've gone up. I've been frustrated, but then the swell before last one, I went up and just got a mental one. It was like, it's all worth it.
It's all worth it, yeah.
But that mental one, it's not just good for that session.
No,
it's
next level. It's good forever.
It's got a decade on it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's frozen in time.
Yeah,
I've often thought that. Like, I've travelled the world, like gone to Skeleton Bay and different places all around the world. You travel for 48 hours to get to a surf break, but pretty much one of the best waves in the world is 45 minutes up the coast, and we don't really surf it that much.
Or in your backyard.
Yeah.
But then go 2 hours up to Noosa.
Yeah.
And again,
that's another top-notch wave.
You've got from Noosa to Byron.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of
right-hand
waves.
point in heaven.
Yeah, and Lennox
then
as
there's
well.
Lennox, and then Ngari as well. Like, Ngari is a serious wave.
Yeah,
Such a good
wave.
wave.
It is a really good coastline.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so we're pretty fortunate to have these. But that's a good question though. Traveling around the world, what's been other than home? Because home's always the favourite, I believe. I know
totally.
I travel,
and
especially as you
I
get
get
older
home, I
too.
go, oh, so
you
good.
set up,
100%.
you got your family, you got your life, you got all your things, your little quirks that you can just access whenever you want. Yeah, once you get older, home's pretty much always the best.
Correct. But best place that you've surfed, OS?
For me, it would have to be Nias.
Yeah.
The best waves I've had. I've done a few strike missions there and got really lucky with not that many people, and I've never surfed a wave more perfect and mechanically just some of the barrel visions have just been like, you could not design a better wave than that. And Desert Point on the backhand. Both of them I feel like are pretty blown out these days, like with crowds. There's just a swell in Desert Point I saw, and it was apparently ridiculous, but I don't know, I feel like you can still maybe find
negotiate a couple.
shoulder, but it's probably getting harder to get uncrowded waves. But yeah, that would be my 2 best waves. That, and also I love Mexico.
Yeah, right.
I went there a lot when I was younger and just kind of sussed the points and the secret beaches and stuff. It's just a beautiful country as well.
Yeah. Jeff?
For overseas ways.
That Mentawais trip we did?
There'd be one of those sessions.
HDs is fun.
I'm trying to figure out which session I like the most though in the HDs one. They're all different. They're too hard to...
Yeah.
I mean, if we got Greenbush bigger, we were there's swells that sort of happened, major swell as soon as we got there, then it chilled out a bit, and then it sort of came on a bit towards the end, but...
You just can't beat the Mentawais though. For quality of waves.
That was, I don't know.
You've had some good sessions in Fiji too.
Yeah, when I first went over to Fiji, me and my friend got restaurants really good with the more west angle to it, and that was the most mechanical, perfect wave I've definitely ever ridden. Just so clean and just so hollow. That was real good. And I also realised I wasn't a big wave surfer that same day. So me and my mate thought we were big wave heroes. And, we had our reasonable side boards, but nowhere near big enough.
Yeah.
And we paddled out there. We thought we'd seen what the sets were.
A cloud break.
Yeah, a cloud break. And we were like, oh man, this is really scary, but we've got this, we've trained, we're sort of fit, and we've done our breath work and all that. And then this set came through, and I'll never, ever forget it. And we were just like, oh my God. And we were just heads down, absolutely scampering. We both just got under it, and then like a motorboat back to our boat. We had wakes coming off our paddle. That's how hard we're paddling. Fear like no other.
Yeah.
So I realised then that there's no
the ocean is the king.
So those guys that are doing that stuff, that next level stuff,
it's unfathomable.
It's unfathomable.
And you remember that big cloud break swell that happened? That big monster.
Thundercloud.
Thundercloud that was wild as CT was on, whatever. We had Parker on the show, and he was talking about how it was ripping up chunks of coral head.
The reef was getting ripped off. Yeah.
Wow, imagine those guys.
Yeah. But how is it though, when you're surfing what feels like solid waves to you, you might get a 6 foot one at cloud break, and you're like, okay, this is a solid barrel, and then you get the photo back, and it looks like it's 3 foot.
Yeah, totally.
And then you see
look at their waves.
You look at their waves, and it looks giant.
So what does it look like to them?
Yeah, from the inside, it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine you get rolled by one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't
feel
want
like
to.
you
Let's
just-
not.
Yeah.
That's just
I feel like you're
horrendous.
just kind of born with that, or you're not. You can obviously train,
Yeah,
but that
yeah.
fearlessness to go, like those top 20 guys that go the crazy big waves, you can't really just switch that and just go, I'm
Well,
just
I
going to
read
go
it-
30-foot wave.
I read a Mark Matthews quote, and his quote was, in fact, it's actually in our latest issue of Surfing Life, and the quote is, how you overcome fear is you just make a decision whether you want it more than you're scared of it.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, well,
That's a good
there you
way of,
go.
like,
It's
processing
amazing,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I want it more than I'm scared
Yeah.
of it, so therefore
Therefore,
I
it's
can do it.
validated. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't want it more, the fear will overcome
Overcome
you.
it.
Yeah.
And then
That's a good
you'll
one.
do go somewhere half in between and get rolled.
Get smoked. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of that though, like this is something that's an interesting one for people. What's worth getting smashed on the takeoff on a huge wave, or trying to get under it, paddling back out and it's just broken? What's the worst? For me, that's the
paddling back
worst.
out.
The
Paddle back out.
Yeah,
I reckon
That's
the
all-
takeoff.
Really?
Yeah, when you're going down with the lip.
Yeah. See, my fear factor, because you're going down, you're like, well, this is like, yeah, actually, nah.
Yeah, because you could
That's a
land
good
on your
point.
board, you could land on the bottom. That's the one that gets me.
Yeah, I'm with you still though. When that huge wave's just broken and I've got to get under that somehow, that scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, it's hectic.
Yeah.
You got a shallow duck dive though, because
Yeah, totally.
you can't get deep enough.
No.
So you're gonna get cooked
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
You're better off just popping
Yeah, they're a little shocky. Yeah.
straight out the top and getting swept backwards.
Oh,
Now, speaking of crazy things, the death cage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, it's kind of not death defying unless you have an aneurysm maybe, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it looks heavy.
To like the crowd personnel, of course it is. That look, there's this huge structure that he's flinging around with and it's on fire. That's
Imagine
like,
if it
that
comes
is a
off and
death
rolls
cage.
into the...
Yeah, I've actually
Yeah.
I've thought about it before. The last time that we used it, which
Yeah.
was in New Year's Eve this year, and it'd been sitting around for 2 years rusting.
Right.
And because I'm going upside down, and it's probably like 10 foot in the air where
Yeah.
I'm sitting, and if there was just like a malfunction from the mechanism, it's full broken neck. Like
Yeah.
potential
Well, you
death.
could kill yourself.
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
you?
you could kill yourself.
It
yeah.
could kill you. Yeah.
Like, and that, it's obviously a possibility, but yeah, it's just a really weird. I mean, I'm used to it now, but when we first started, obviously the idea is that we'd spin 360 degrees upside down, which only a few bands had ever done something similar. Like Motley Crue used to do it, Slipknot, but it was different kind of
Yeah,
mechanisms.
it's different.
So we just spun that way, and yeah, it was full on because I couldn't practice for the for it because it was in Germany and we we're practicing in Australia.
Yeah,
so
of course.
the idea was to do
G-force.
like a drum solo in it, and I wrote this drum solo which I had completely down at home. Then when I went over there, I couldn't really
Reverse
play
gravity.
it properly because I was like sideways and
Kicking
upside
up.
down.
Oh,
and,
Yeah. It's not like everything's in position, so why does it matter?
Yeah.
No, you
Well,
the
'cause-
gravity
Yeah,
is
exactly,
different.
yeah.
He's used to gravity going,
That
here you go,
way.
mate.
Yeah,
I'll help
here you go. I'm going to help you out. We're
Yeah.
going
Now
down.
gravity's like, oh no, mate, you're not hitting that.
Yeah, and the hardest part actually is with drumming, you're kind of moving your torso
Yeah.
and you're free.
Yeah,
but with
you-
this, you have to be strapped down and back. So I'm literally
Absolutely.
playing like this.
Wow.
And like the legs are strapped down, so it's
Yeah,
like,
so it's got no
and then
force.
so instead of like leaning into like a cymbal hit, I'm kind of like going like this, and it's just
Did it make you feel more timid? Because
oh,
you couldn't...
Well, you just
Yeah.
can't, like, you just couldn't put your body into it.
yeah, couldn't put the body
Yeah.
into it, but it was.
But you know what I mean? I don't think you would have played it timidly, but
Oh, yeah,
couldn't,
you're limited.
you couldn't force
actually-
stuff that you would,
Yeah,
get
you-
stuck in like you normally would.
For sure, yeah, you can't limit it, and it was a full challenge. The first tour was really hard to kind of figure it out, but we've done probably 4 or 5 since, and yeah, I actually like it now. It's pretty full on, even like going upside down and getting dizzy and blood rushing to your head. There's been a few of the most interesting moments in our career and my perspective of that, where like we've been playing to like 80,000 people. Upside down, looking at the crowd on the roof with fire going off, just going, how the hell did this happen? It's just
Who
a
decided
real-
to do this?
This is a really weird thing
Yeah.
to see that not many people would ever get to
Yeah.
see. A crowd upside down with fire,
Totally.
80,000 Germans, like
And if you're there for long enough, your perspective would just
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
screwy. Are they on the ceiling?
Yeah.
Where am I? Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
true,
wouldn't
that
wanna-
happens too.
I wouldn't want to take any psychedelics before it.
No, right.
Oh.
That's it.
Taking magic mushrooms before that would
wouldn't be good.
No, it wouldn't be helpful.
No. And as a musician, how did you find your musicianship? Because I know that that's always paramount. That's the number one thing. Your musicianship is first because you're going to have stage presence and you're going to have, let's not call it a gimmick, it's something fun for the audience.
Yeah,
and
totally.
that's what our job is to make something enjoyable and fun. But how did you find your musicianship upside down?
Well, funnily enough, the first tour, it was bad because I got kind of rattled the first time we did it because it was like the first time I'd done a drum solo, and not only was drum solo, it was like 5 minutes and you're going upside down and it was just psycho, and I started playing pretty average.
Right.
But then after that, I just kind of got more used to going upside down and ended up... Oh, you can't obviously play as good this way as upside down, but I got the hang of it now.
Yeah.
Like the first tour was, like I said, if I had that at home for
You
2
didn't
months,
You could train.
I could have
Yeah.
trained, but like it was like getting built in Europe, and I
Yeah.
was like literally hanging upside down in my gym at home, going, just air drumming, going, this is the best I can come up with, just to get used to the blood rushing to the head.
Yeah.
But it's a fun little...
Because imagine it
he
would
does
just
really
be
well.
practice.
All things considered, he does really well. It's really fun for us to watch
Yeah.
too. I guess, we're doing our thing. We're doing what
So
we're doing.
I'm thinking for you, next one, right, is a pool at the front of the stage.
Yeah.
And
Are you
you're
going
on
to
those,
take royalties for this?
no, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And you've got one of those jet boots.
Oh.
So you're flying.
I hope I don't do the one like the news with the news crew one, that famous one where he just cooked. That's what I would do though. I'm that guy. I'm that guy for
There
sure.
you go. There's the one for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. I'll what's the 10%? I'll give you 10%. That was good.
I'm an ideas man.
You are. I can tell.
Jet boots, playing. It'd be quite the
imagine
scene,
that.
wouldn't it?
I mean, if someone else
At
can
least you
control
could
it for
at
you.
least do it for one of your film clips.
I was just thinking about how my core is travelling at the moment, and I think that'd be really hard. It'd be sick though.
Yeah.
It'd be epic.
They'd look tough to control it, but
Yeah.
imagine you'd be pretending you were playing a solo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Through it, you
Have to
know.
do in the backing tracks or something like
Exactly.
that. Yeah.
Well, it's a video clip.
Yeah.
So. Speaking of video clips, love the latest one.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Tell us about the creative behind that.
Oh, the Greatest Fear one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably one of my favourite music videos we've ever done,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
my favourite for sure.
It's just really professionally done.
Yeah.
Were you sweating up in the dunes?
It was actually real cold.
Oh, well, perfect.
It looked warm,
Yeah,
but
it
it was
does.
actually fully freezing.
Oh, well,
Like,
that
I found
actually-
myself just never stopping moving because I was getting real cold. So
Sorry to cut you off, but I just remembered
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So you enjoyed that one the most.
Yeah, well, not so much the making of it, but like the outcome of it. It just is a really professional, and I like the deeper meaning. Winston, it was his kind of idea, and then the production company Hype, they ran with it, and it just kind of really suits the song. And we got really lucky with the locations, because there's a lot of the locations it looked like it was going to rain.
So much luck.
And they're all kind of, my one in the forest, the sun came out just as we were
Just
shooting it. It
perfect,
was just like beautiful sunrise. It just was like really
we got
good.
real lucky with that.
Yeah, it was
And Winston's the lead singer. Yeah.
Yes.
His scene in the water.
Yeah,
That's a
rock
really
pools and all
good
that.
spot too. Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone's
good.
looked
All-
really good. I
all-
thought it was.
Yeah.
I thought pulling the band away from each other.
Yeah.
And each having their own location.
Totally.
Yeah.
It was just something different.
Super cool.
We
Cotton fields and
we had a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
But we had fun because a guy had to come and pick us all up in a 4B because we're on the dunes, the Stockton dunes, and you're not like they've got some pretty heavy regulations on who can be there and all that, whatever. And yeah, we're just getting bogged and all pushing it and like going through all these dramas to get to where we needed to be, right on the top of these huge dunes. But
Looked like Namibia or something, those dunes.
No,
eh?
they were really
incredible.
good. Yeah, he said they were the biggest dunes in the Southern Hemisphere or something. They
Wow.
were pretty serious dunes. Yeah.
wow.
So that was fun. Yeah. Something extra. Usually it's like
That's
a bit
cool.
sterile. Like when when you're
yeah,
filming,
yeah.
usually it's in the studio and it's like
Well,
lights and angles
yeah.
and all that stuff. I do this 60,000 times.
Yeah.
But and, this was sort of a bit more like just rolling with whatever. So it was cool.
So that's favourite so far, outcome wise?
Oh,
me, for
outcome. For me, we've done a few music videos I'm stoked with.
Oh, tell them about Vice.
Yeah, Vice
Your-
Grip's probably
your idea.
my in a way
That's
favourite.
up there, yeah.
That's the one. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but the song's about like living life to the fullest
Mm.
and just So we thought the idea for the music video would just be embody that, because we kind of do in a way. But we play in this airfield, and then halfway through we start getting on the plane, and then the biggest line of the song is "One life, one shot, give it all you got," and Winston screams it. And the idea was for him to sing that sing it and then jump out of the plane. Yeah. And so we go up, and then he did it. We got like the best, I forget his name now, but he's the best skydiving photographer in the world, videographer in the world. He's filmed like Point Break and all these things. And then Winston had to do it and then jump out of the plane, and it was just kind of, it just all worked and just kind of looks
They had
really
to do
cool.
full training. Like obviously, like the guys that
because he's doing it not tandem,
he's doing it. That's
so
the thing.
good.
So he had him and a few of the other guys had to train up for it, and and they did it, and it was pretty crazy looking back on it.
Oh, that's heaps of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. We're trying to have fun with music videos, because they're a part of being in a band, and actually, rather than saying, "Oh, we just got to do something for the sake of it," we try and think of what's something that's meaningful, or something we can have fun with.
Sure.
Yeah. And how can everyone relate to it at the same time?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, that's like the current one, which is relative to this.
Oh yeah,
we
back
did one
back
based
in the
off
day.
surfing. A boat comes midway through the song.
Yeah, we played on the beach.
And we were playing on the beach, and then the boat, like Thundercat, comes along, and we're all doing tow airs and whatever else. That was kind of an industry first, to be honest.
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely.
That was a funny one.
That was funny.
That's
our funniest one. If you get a chance, check it out.
I'm definitely checking
Karma.
that out. I'm
Karma.
definitely checking that out. No, that's heaps of fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
You got it, and that's the thing, when you are in a creative industry, which you are, if you're writing music, writing songs, you want everything you do to be on point.
Yeah.
In a creative sense.
Totally.
Sure.
And the sky's the limit too, because it's it's art. So there's no rules.
Yeah, just imagination.
Well, people think there is, but there's not.
No, just how far your imagination can allow you to go.
Yeah, for
Exactly.
sure. Yeah.
And the amazing thing is, as surfers, we get the opportunity to enter a creative space in our brain very quickly every day.
Yeah.
Because blue is the colour that opens up the creative side of your brain. And we're looking to the horizon, blue sky, blue ocean. There's a lot of blue involved in the start of our day.
Yeah, right.
That actually,
Take that one.
that actually explains a bit, because a lot of the time, if I'm either surfing or going for a run at the beach or a walk, a lot of the time when you're like, all right, I'm switching off from work or business or whatever it is, I'm just going to be present. Some things just pop in, just come to you when you're not, you're in the zone. And it just comes
Add to that, the other thing that unlocks creativity is water.
Wow.
That's why you're in the shower often, and you're like, oh, I've got an idea.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Because water unlocks it as well. So that's where you find a lot of surfers do live in a creative space of music and art, and even the way we surf.
Yeah.
So
that's creative in itself too, because there's no one way to ride a wave.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you've never ridden the same way, a wave twice same way.
No way.
Let alone the same wave.
For sure.
Now, I asked if you guys could bring something special in, something means something to you, something for us to chat about.
Okay. So
Jeff, what do we got going on here?
I've bought in my 1991 Junior Charge winner. So what this is?
Junior Charge winner.
So there's
what does that mean?
So out the back of Mullum, there's this. It's called the Shinkogan
Charge.
Festival or something, whatever it was called, and they did a run. There was two segments. There was of a certain age and above, which is basically the men's one. Then there was like young kids to early adolescence or whatever, something like that. Anyway, so I go in this race. It all kicks off. I'm running along. I'm like, well, I'm not even going to try because there's already these older kids that are 1,000 k's ahead of me. I think my parents pushed me to do it, so I'll just do it. I mean, I was reasonably athletic, but just not top notch. Anyway, so the race is happening, and so everyone's just off in the distance. I'm like, oh, why am I even bothering? I'm going to start walking soon. So then next minute, this old lady goes, oh, I've made a mistake. And she moves these witches' hats to change the course. So the slightly older kids were doing the men's course, which was like go right up the top of the hill, which is way too far for young kids. So anyway, all these fit, all the fit people and the
charger offers.
and the people that had skills or whatever, the fitness, they were long gone. They're out of the situation, and I was like in the first 5 people that were heading back to the finish, and I looked at the group in front of me and I was like, I can do
take
this.
them.
And I was like, I can take them. And anyway, so just went for it. Anyway, I came over the line and I won, and my parents were so sad. Oh wow, I don't know how he did that. He must be Superman. You got to beat those kids. Anyway, and then it's on. All the other kids start coming back. Hey, like what they put on the wrong way. I would have won. I've been training. All this big fiasco. All the parents were like, give that back. They have to do it again. And I remember my mum being there. They can't do it again. It's too much for the poor little kids. They can't do it again. Anyway, it's like a full thing. Anyway, I got up on a stage and I got handed this. It's like a big deal. Like the festival's like there was a lot of people there, and all that. I was like, yeah, great, awesome.
That's going straight to the pool room.
So, unfortunately, the story doesn't end there, though.
Unfortunately.
So this is a 2-piece feed. So now for the next part of the story. So you might notice that he's holding something kind of strange. Yeah, and from the back it may appear like a matchstick. So it looks like maybe I've tampered with it. So with that being said, so one day, Daniel Ricciardo, race car driver, he's in town. He's got some of his mates, and a couple of my mates are like, let's go hang out for a bit or whatever. And the idea was that, Daniel wanted to learn how to surf, and we're already friends with Daniel. He's hung out with us at shows. He's played live with us. He's done all this stuff. We're already good mates.
He seems like a fun guy.
He's a legend. He's such a good bloke. Anyway, so take him surfing. We have a good time and all that. And then
I did see that photo, by the way, of you with Daniel, and the exact same males sitting in the rack out the front.
No way. Yeah, right. What are those things? The yellow
and blue things.
Things. Yeah,
exactly.
you gotta have them. You gotta have them in your arsenal just in case your friends
never know.
Or family want to learn.
Oh no, knee high, I'm on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a ball.
They're so fun. I used to ride them all the time out the pass and all that. Yeah. But anyway, so look, we finished doing that, and we're like, he's like, anyone got any ideas? What should we do now? And I'm pretty competitive. Ben can probably back that up, but I was like, I've got.
Sounds like you're only competitive when the Witcher hat gets moved.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Oh, I know that I'm good at something. Anyway, so I'm like, I've got a tennis table at my place, but don't bother. I was like, don't bother. And he's like, oh, really?
Oh, right.
And he's like, oh, really?
He couldn't be that competitive,
and he's like, no one's beat me on the tour. Like, when he's like, no one's ever beaten me. And I was like, it's up to you. If you want to keep that track record, I wouldn't come over to my house then. Anyway, so this whole thing happened, and so I ended up making this up, meaning whoever wins is the champion, which he gets to keep that, which sort of means something to me.
Of course.
But that's also a part of my
cheat trophy.
defense ploy,
Yeah.
So anyway, so I make this up, I'm like, let's go, and we start playing. He was really good, but I had these filthy serves that were legal though. They were. Anyone that's listening might know what I'm talking about with the illegal hold on to it and half spin it before you hit it. Anyway, and I smashed him. But at the end of the day, like when we were rallying, he was really good.
He was good.
Yeah, he was really good.
Not
you
in your house.
And I retained the trophy.
Not in your house, eh?
He's still here. So I've still got
that
him.
is gold.
Yeah, I thought you might like that one.
I do like the 2-piece feed.
Yeah.
It's,
it was a double combo.
Yeah.
A bit of a
sound a bit like a burger and a hot spicy wing to me.
Yeah. Just a bit more than you bargained for.
Ben?
Well, my story's not as long as that, because when you asked us to bring an award or something, I looked in my award section and we got gold records and platinum plaques, and we got ARIA awards and all sorts of stuff, but none of them were that interesting. But we made a book 10 years ago called 10 Years of Parkway Drive.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at it for about 8 years. And I opened it up, and every single page there was like some kind of cool story.
Nice.
Oh, there's us in a wave pool. Jeff with a funny haircut.
Rider.
It's all about
they're weird.
Just like different how we made records and behind the scenes when we played. What's that? As Rock.
Yeah, Uluru.
And I was like, this is more interesting. That's when we played Costa Rica for the first time. Pretty much every page is like some sort of cool thing going on.
Yeah,
but
so good.
Yeah, it's I thought that'd be more interesting than an award.
No, I think that's brilliant.
I mean, honestly, like I'm a one-trick pony. Like,
That's all you've got.
Don't think I was like, which one should I do? Like that was like I looked at it, I was like,
Oh, sounds like you might have a couple
all I
of
got.
platinums and golds.
Oh
and,
yeah, all that kind of stuff. But fun-wise,
exactly.
Yeah, that was
when you're
that was
when
it.
you're a surfer, you don't really
Yeah.
worry about that other stuff, do you?
No. And I saw you mention, any special boards, and they're all snapped. They're all snapped and dead.
Oh my God.
In the bin.
Oh, you need
Well, it's
some
the first time we're in the studio. Look how young I am. I'm 17.
Stop it.
You were what,
That's my
19?
first guitar, which is really sad. Look at the other guy's got like a proper
Yeah, he's got a
Gibson
Les Paul.
with the right pickup in it too. He was
Yeah,
ahead of his
yeah.
time.
Do you know what's
Beautiful.
weird? I listened to that. I see how young we are,
Yeah.
and then listen to that first album, and even though it's obviously worlds apart from where we are now, I'm like, how did we create that when we were that young?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
That's
Like,
so
it's like, fuck.
good.
Yeah.
It's just weird thinking like how long we've been doing it for, I guess.
Yeah.
20
man, it's been
years.
a while now.
Speaking of metal and surfing, you guys ever surf with Metallica?
No.
That would be such a dream for
It'd
me.
be fun,
'cause I'm
huh?
a massive. Like that's it. Like if they weren't a band, I wouldn't be sitting here with you. Yeah, you'd have
Shout
some
out
better looking-
Metallica. Go for a surf with these
Let's go
guys.
surfing. Let's do it. And play ping pong if you're up for it.
Guys, for coming in, I've got a couple little prezzies for you.
No
Oh,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Bring
That's
it
what all
on.
this is piled up here for.
We'll
Oh,
move this
wow.
super junk.
Well, here's
here.
a subscription to Fuel TV.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, thank you,
How
mate.
good is that?
Give me 5.
Yeah. Stubby cooler.
Yes.
Oh, my dad
Thank
will be
you.
stoked.
Fantasy surf sessions.
Yeah.
That's a
Nice.
fantasy surf
Oh, yeah,
thing
right.
that we've
I
got
can
going on
never
with the
get
guys.
enough of these things. I just lose them.
Well,
I won't lose this one.
You got a surf
I'll put
life
it,
one.
look, you got a leg rope holder
Yeah,
here.
that's
I
right.
can make sure I don't lose it.
What I like about them, they're flat. They go in your pocket. They go with you everywhere.
There you go. There you go. You're
So
a thinker.
good.
You're a thinker.
I like to think.
You like to think you are.
Yeah, that's right. Some old school videos for you.
Yes,
From Chris
please.
Boston. Gravity
Yes,
Sucks,
please.
Cyclone Fever. There's some
No
Kira
way.
in there.
Oh, my
Yes,
God.
I love it.
That's
Heritage
epic.
stuff.
Look at that.
Of course, we've got to have
I'm going to sleep out
some
in front of
Surfing
you.
Life magazines.
100%.
Latest issue, but I also threw in the culture issue, which has got a whole
Nice.
story on surf
Well,
music history.
Look at this bloke at 12 o'clock.
Well, do you
I
know,
know.
what's
Ripping
interesting? Caius, who's on the cover of this one, him and his brother Rasmus live on Parkway Drive.
It's
The
amazing.
street that I grew up on, obviously the band
Yes.
is named
Yeah.
after.
He's on it.
I've known them before they were born. I used to hang out with their dad, and now they're shredding, making music.
It's so good.
In blockbuster movies.
Yeah,
or-
Oh, I know,
and-
right.
and
there,
killing
on the way
it just
there.
up the street. So yeah, they're legends. They're doing well, those kids.
So good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, mate. Thank you.
From one of our partners, Wear It Surf Watches, here's a
Oh, come on.
surf
Seriously?
watch for you.
Oh wow!
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not.
No way.
These ones hook up to an
Amazing.
app,
Thanks.
hooks
Oh,
into Magic
whoa.
Seaweed,
No
No
way.
way.
gives you swell and swell heights. and
Oh,
you can see
wow.
mine there. Look,
Wow.
press the button, it all does its thing.
So you know what's good about this? I've actually got, because being a parent of young children, time is of the absolute most importance.
Absolutely.
So I have this super tragic Casio, like I have to do all this stuff to make it work. If I push the thing in too much, stops, and then I'm
Yeah.
out in the surf, I'm like, oh no. So this is like
That's what you need.
the Christmas I never
Perfect.
had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
in there.
awesome, mate.
Thanks,
Thank
mate.
you so much.
Wow, they look
That's
good too.
unbelievable. You know what's sad? This
Here's
is
the question: who's got more wetsuits than the other one?
probably me. I got heaps.
Well, then you go. Here's your wetsuit drying rack for
Wow.
That was
you. And
like,
I've got a.
I made a joke the other day. I went to his house and he had about 6 sweaties on his fence. I was like,
Do you know what's funny though? I thought you had a weddy for him, and I was being the nice guy trying to get.
Oh, you're trying to
him
do it.
in.
Yeah.
And then
Well, this is from Narwhal as well. It's a board hanger. If you got a 6 single
nice.
fin,
Oh,
like what you
good.
see hanging in the set here. So
wow.
Wilco gave me a single fin the other week. Oh, that was a few months ago actually. So
perfect.
That's
I haven't
huge.
ridden
And
one.
here's a couple of tote bags from Fuel TV as well
Good
to
mate.
put all your goodies in.
This is. I've never had this
Beautiful.
many presents in my
Thank
life.
you. Stoked.
I'm gonna sleep in on your front lawn. I think.
You see what pours out the
Just
front
see
door.
what see what else
Yeah.
you got going on.
Oh, we're sorted, mate. Cheers.
That's unreal. Put it there, legend.
Pleasure.
Mate.
That's unbelievable.
So guys, thanks for coming in. It's been super fun. Great yarns.
Great to be here.
Guys, thanks for watching and tune in again next time.
Cheers.